Chair, Commissioner Hours. Thank you all for attending tonight's meeting. Before we begin, I would like to state the Planning Commission meetings are open to the public in person and via Microsoft Teams streaming application. All Planning Commission meetings information can be found on the Town of Monument website. Planning Commission role is to conduct public hearings and to make recommendations to the Town Council regarding land use matters in the Town of Monument. Each commissioner agrees to a non-partial, objective, and fair review, which includes no prejudgments of the project. Should a commissioner wish to disqualify him or herself for any conflicts of personal or financial interest in this matter before us tonight, please say so now. Hearing none, for those attending tonight who wish to provide comments on agenda items, you may speak to the commission during the public comment sections of the agenda. Those who attend in person will be called upon first and are asked to come to the podium and sign in with your name and address. Those attending via Microsoft Teams will be called upon next and are asked to use the raise your hand option and unmute your microphone when called upon. We ask that if multiple people have the same comments, only one person speak on that same subject. Again, thank you for attending. We will now call the meeting roll call.
Thank you. Vice Chair Hours,
Here.
Commissioner Green,
Here.
Commissioner Egley,
Here.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Commissioner Collins.
Here.
That concludes roll call. Thank you.
No appointments are necessary today. This, we have my pledge of allegiance.
Oh,
There's one full up your hand.
that would be appropriate for better.
Would it be appropriate?
Why not?
Right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I ask for approval of the minutes of the October 9 meeting. Collins, move to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Roll call.
Thank you. All right, Vice Chair, Hours,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Egley,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, none opposed. Thank you.
We'll set a public hearing and recommendations now. There are two items on the agenda. And I will turn it to the staff, the first case. Presentation.
Thanks, Chair Hours. My name is Dan Underleiter. I'm the planning director of the Town of Monument. Tonight, we're having, we are hearing the continuation of a public hearing that was heard at the last meeting on October 9th. It was a request for a PMD filing number 1. A copy of the staff report is included with your packet, as well as an addendum for tonight's continued meeting. At the conclusion of the October 9th meeting, the Planning Commission requested more information or confirmation that the public improvements for Higbee Road would be able to fit within the dedicated right-of-way that this plan was creating. Higbee Road is currently a 70-foot wide right-of-way. This plat of subdivision is going to add an additional 30 feet to that to make it 100 feet wide. And that's in accordance with the direction provided by Town Council. We were able to work with the developer as well as the engineering firm that is doing the design work and preparations for the Higbee Road improvements. And we were able to confirm that all of the public improvements will fit within the 100-foot right-of-way that's being created by this plat as well as the adjoining property to the east. We will also work further with the developer, and applicant for this case, to make sure that if there's any variance, in public improvements such as curb or sidewalk that might encroach into their property, because things happen on the field, that their easements actually, they have public utility and drainage, easements, around the perimeter of the property. Those easements will, serve, for those encroachments as well. But we do not have any intention to have the public sidewalk in full on private property. This is a common occurrence throughout town. We do have sidewalks that meander a little bit in and out sometimes. Construction happens. Once again, working with a town engineer, our public works director, and other parties, we've confirmed, as you requested, that the public improvements will fit within the dedicated right of way, which now will total 100 feet in width. I really have nothing else to add other than we continue to recommend approval for this plat of subdivision, and that we ask for you to make a recommendation to approve the request for preliminary final plat approval for Jackson Creek North PND filing number 1, based on the findings of fact that were provided in the original staff report. And then we would, with your recommendation, we would forward that to council for their consideration in December.
The applicant has no comments tonight. Okay, I'll open the for public comments. Is there anybody tonight that would like to make a comment on the project?
We have Doug, that's our attorney, raising his hand right now, so.
Please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Very good.
Hey, my link as a guest speaker didn't appear to work, so I am logged in under the public channel. I just wanted you to know that I'm here since I was requested. If there's any questions I can answer, and if I can fix so I can be a guest speaker, I guess I'll try that as well. That's all.
Thank you, Doug.
We do have one more hand raised. Bree, you have the opportunity to speak now.
Hi, my name's Bree Makovsky. I am new to participating in these meetings, and actually the second agenda item is where I'd like to speak more, but I do just want to add a piece as a, parent of a child who we're now driving over. This intersection is becoming increasingly dangerous to be able to cross over from the neighborhood into the school, with also there going to be an anticipation that kids will start using that road to cross the street, either as pedestrians and or coming out of the gym coming through. So just as a person that's using it and watching kids drive through there, this is going to be a major safety issue. So the lack of a sidewalk is a bit concerning, but overall, in terms of this being approved or not, the urgency really for us as parents of kids going to the school is a safety measure. So thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. That was for the second agenda item.
I think it
No,
was,
this one's for the first item. I have more for the second item because we back up to the next one. So this one is about that roundabout, that piece there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Hello,
I'm not seeing anything in the digital audience.
close the public hearing.
Can I just add her comment, or can I make a comment to her comment?
Please do.
Well, just to reiterate that, the number one goal, I think, of TriView taking on the widening project of Jackson Creek Parkway is to promote, safety and well-being, especially for the Lewis Palmer High School District. There will be an 8-foot sidewalk along south side. And then I believe there is a sidewalk planned along the north side as well. And the roundabout, I hope, would be a better traffic control than the stop sign configuration that time.
Can I just add one thing to that? I think as a driver, I don't know how often people are driving up there. It's a blind hill coming up and down. So that roundabout somehow, however it's posted and warned, and I'm sure the police department will address this as well in terms of traffic. Like I said, I'm new to it. I don't want to make assumptions, but I just wanted to be able to voice how important that is with now the increased traffic coming through the neighborhood and up and over to the school. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I'm not seeing.
Okay. Close the public hearing. The commissioners, comments, questions?
I have a comment. I just want to comment and would like it on record that I believe what has happened here is a loophole in this overlay zone. And nothing I can do about it tonight or you guys. I'd like to make it a priority in the future to fix this. P in zoning language means plan. You usually have to have some kind of planned unit development. But in this case, as far as I'm concerned, this land has no zoning. It is absent of zoning when you say it's a PMD and you can put high residential or commercial, or I think industrial. To me, that means that it has no zoning. You don't have to go through a PUD process. I think that's a loophole in how it went from tri-view zoning to becoming an overlay zone. I really would like to make that a priority.
Thank you, Commissioner Rooney. Any other comments?
I had a question for town staff. Maybe I misunderstand the process, but when an application is made for the final plat, does the applicant have to address how their request protects the public's health, safety, and general welfare? Do they have to address that specifically?
Mr. Rain glasses for reading. So in this case, there is no development proposal. So we're talking about a plan of subdivision that dedicates right of way, creates tracts of land for stormwater and stormwater control and stormwater management and open. They're not seeking entitlement or approval for any development whatsoever. So it's hard to say that it doesn't comply with or it runs against the public welfare and safety because it's not doing anything. It's really just creating if you recall from when we first talked about it, it's a unplatted piece of property. This will make it a formal platted piece of property, dedicate the road improvements, which it does help improve, or so dedicates the right of way for road improvements, which will help with safety, public safety, and helps us get closer to meeting our goals for that corridor. But there are still unanswered questions, which we'll have to address once we start seeing a development plan in place or proposed, and that will go through whatever the appropriate process is.
But that'll be done administratively, and administratively review.
That is correct. Now, that doesn't mean it's a carte blanche cheesy approval. We actually go through the same formal process with our referring partners. We do look at it through the lens of our code. If there are questions of that, we will have discussions and sometimes debate with the development community. And if there's disagreements, there's always the opportunity to bring that plan to council. It was a way to appeal what my determination might be made for the council. So it's not a dead end or your last chance. But the development community has been very, so far in other projects, although it could be a process, they do come to the table and try to work out the issues, even through the administrative process. Okay. Thanks.
Any other?
Yeah, so I appreciate the overlay, and that really was the crux of my question. So on the overlay, it shows the northeast corner of the property boundaries being in scope. That was really the primary purpose of my issue and the hesitance, because it's I'm curious as to why on the plat, on the proposed plat, that it doesn't show the overlap. Well, I get they're two different things, but that's
Maybe, I think the confusion is that you're seeing the 30-foot right-of-way dedication within that circle. that is not gonna be public right of way. So that's gonna be dedicated to the town. Because public right of way where the road and other improvements can be placed. So it's not encroaching. As I said, the only thing that might have a slight encroachment is a section of sidewalk that's running really close enough where we're concerned that if, as I said, if construction happens, it might or might not encroach, but we've handled that through the legal documents, with the plans. So
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. That really answered my question.
Great.
But that was really the crux of it, because now is the time to fix it. What is wrong? And I wasn't really convinced that it was correct.
And that's why we wanted to provide that overlay for you. So I appreciate the question, and we want to make sure, you're right, we want to take care of this stuff up front.
Any other comments?
No, I do.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion.
Collins, I'll make a motion to recommend approval of applicant's request to approve the preliminary and final plat for Jackson Creek North. PMD finding number 1, based upon the findings of fact attached here to as exhibit 4 in the staff report.
Smith, I'll make a second.
Thank you. Vice Chair Hours,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Eglin,
Yes.
Commissioner Smith,
Yes.
and Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, none opposed. Thank you.
Hey, before we move on, I'd like to make a recommendation at this point. Last meeting, I made a recommendation at the wrong point related to a motion. And the motion had flaws. And I consumed more of the commissioners, the applicants, and the director's time than was appropriate. And I apologize for that. Tonight, I have a recommendation I would like on the record as my personal and with any support by commissioners. I'm asking, I'm making it because our director is new, and although he has shown us he is getting a good lay of the land, I believe the recommendation will have value when he reviews the site plan for future plat development, and he will have a commissioner's development concerns. I included justification for my recommendation. I'm also going to provide you with information of commissioners on my right, you want it, and for each on your left. I have them up here. Recommend our planning director include in the review of any site plan for future development of the final plat for Jackson Creek North PMD filing number 1 and his recommendation to the county council for action include a detailed study of the status of the Jackson Creek Parkway roadway construction plan, associated traffic studies and subsequent approval, and under construction traffic generators. The status of the Jackson Creek Parkway plan at the Highway 105 intersection is a concern since none of the planned improvements presented to the Planning Commission on September 14, 2022 have yet been made, and the status of the Jackson Creek roadway plan has not been recently updated publicly. The roadway construction plan presented to the commission related to the Monument Junction West PUD included details but not limited to an eastbound right turn lane should be provided at Highway 105 and the Jackson Creek Parkway. A deceleration lane is required under the existing traffic. The movement would fail at the intersection without dual northbound left turn lanes, exclusive left turn lanes, and future eastbound lanes acceleration lane would be provided. The roadway improvements would occur by phasing to include the need for the town to obtain access permits for El Paso County for intersection improvements. In the recommendation. Any comments?
I'm rereading it.
Sure. That's why I gave it to you, because verbally I had a tendency to confuse people. I did last.
Yeah.
I got that next one.
Thank you.
So Chair Hours brought this to my attention earlier today. And what I expressed to him is that I will work with staff and the appropriate parties to provide you a presentation December, most likely January, for the status of these improvements. You may or may not be aware, but a lot of these improvements that he's talking about, or many of them, are actually subject to the budget discussion that the council is having right now. Without going too far into detail, they need to approve their budget before we can get to the next stage. So I'm going to let them finish their budget process. The public is certainly welcome to participate in this conversation at the town council meeting. But I can relay to you that it is a priority to council and to budget to address the Jackson Creek Parkway, the condition that it's in and where it's supposed to be going. So, but it aligns with your recommendations right here.
And like I said, only did it because of history and we had, you all know, several new directors come that didn't necessarily know the history related things, and that's certainly does not a lack of confidence in you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Read a still reading. She said, I gotta be cautious of this guy.
Are you wanting to make a motion of this?
No,
I agree with what you're saying.
I'm just making the recommendation for the record.
We'll attach it to the minute. We'll attach it to the minutes
Yeah.
as it is written.
That would be
And
nice.
and that was it.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the approval of the plat today, other than future development
Understood.
of the plat.
And if I understand you right, Dan, this isn't going into a black hole. You're gonna come back to us with some information that may be related to this specifically. Once the budgeting is done, and talk to us about the planning for that.
Well, I mean, at very minimum, I think it's good to have the status of the improvements and where they are, given the cost, the delay that you've seen so far. So, whether it's a written report from the Public Works Director, that I send out to you individually, or it's a presentation at Plan Commission. The second is, Jackson Creek Parkway is absolutely going to be a corridor that we're going to talk about during the comprehensive plan. So, there's plenty of time to talk about it. But the improvements and the design and so on, that's right now in council. So when they're finished with this stage, I'll be able to make sure I relay the information to you, so you know where it's going, so you have it and you can share it with your neighbors. There's another case.
I was gonna say, I didn't see it on here, but I was gonna ask you.
There's
It's,
item B.
yeah, it's not in the commission agenda.
It's on the old.
So there's a request for approval of a final plan unit development for Monument Marketplace North Block 5, Panda Express. This is a property adjacent to where Ziggy's and where Ziggy's is going, Kentucky Fried Chicken is there. The reason I'm requesting that you continue the public hearing tonight is that there were some, the final transportation study had not been completed. There was a mechanical failure in the counting mechanism that we're using. So until that final report is completed, I didn't want to waste your time conducting the public hearing and giving you information, then having you have to bring it back at another date. So rather than doing that, the applicant has agreed that we continue the public hearing tonight with your approval, and then we come back to you in December. So I'm going to be asking for a motion to continue this public hearing.
What was the project called?
This is called the Monument Marketplace North Lot 5 Panda Express,
That's December 11th.
December 11th.
Mr. Chairman. This is Commissioner Egley, like to move that we continue the November 13, 2024 public meeting.
Oh, 11, please, make it 11. please.
December 11th.
December 11th.
is the next.
Oh, you
Well-
have December 9th down.
Well, actually,
Or whatever,
we're,
what's the correct date?
we're continuing the November
11th.
13th
Oh, yeah.
to December 9th.
Yeah, there you go.
No,
November 11th, apologies.
December 11th. Well, we're continuing the November 13 public meeting.
Yes, we are. I'm sorry
The
to.
case number, case number FPD 23-055. A request for final plan unit development approval for Monument Marketplace North Lot 5. And it expressed to the regular meeting of the planning commission on December 11, 2024.
Thank you.
Green second.
roll call, please.
Thank you. Vice Chair Hours.
Yes.
Commissioner Green.
Yes.
Commissioner Egley.
Yes.
Commissioner Smith.
Yes.
Commissioner Collins.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 in favor, 0 opposed. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, I will ask, are there any non-agenda items that the public would like to address?
Is there not a agenda item in regards to the area behind Remington Hill?
No, there's not. Which one, which project is that?
So it is. What is it? Yeah, we thought that was part of the Jackson Creek Thorn discussion. It is the Regency Park Planned Residential District.
I'll tell you what, it's not. There's no case for that, but I'd be glad to talk to you about it afterwards so that we make sure that we notify you when it does come up. But I'm not aware of any proposals right off of that.
Okay,
It's the way you're describing it.
Chair, we do also have someone from the digital audience who wants to speak.
yeah, and Bree was thinking that this was, she's gonna discuss the same topic. She's my neighbor.
Okay.
So go ahead, Bree.
Well, in the previous ones, you guys had put up a map of what you were talking about for that roundabout. Do you have a map of the section that you're talking about right now? Because it's the pieces of land that are not developed on the road that backs up to our house is Harness Road. And so Harness Road would be the south road, the west road, or sorry, Harness is the west road that goes up. Hardstone is the road that lines across our property, and it's Jackson Creek Filing 5 that's up behind us. There's new locale development going on up towards Higbee, but it's this like massive section of land in Jackson Creek Filing 5 and 6 that's just not being worked on and causing a lot of stormwater problems.
It's referring to,
I can't see it, sorry.
I'll have it up in a moment.
yes, it's this area.
Yeah, there's no proposals right now. So there's nothing for us to discuss or share. But I would be happy to talk with you offline. If there's any information you'd like me to go gather and bring back to you, I'd be glad to do that.
Okay,
Okay, so for us, there was a misunderstanding then of what the point of today was for that, but if you can give us some direction, either in an email or in the comment box or something, because I have documentation back of 2018 and then really starting heavily in the fall of 2022 with stormwater problems impacting our properties, and then the lack of any sort of development and answers there that we would love to discuss, because this is going to become a major ethical problem for our town. It's ethical problem, and we really wanted to voice that. So if you can tell us where that's appropriate, because we've gone through the mayor, city council, lots of different avenues, and this is something that we would like to raise as something that needs to be a priority.
Well, thank you for your comments, and I would ask you if that project ever comes to this planning commission, that you and those of you that have concern about the project, you come forward to the planning commission and express your concerns at that time, as well as I also recommend that you would then go and express those concerns to the council. Should it ever,
So when you say if it ever comes up, can
Yes.
we ever bring it up to you?
So I think the issue, and this came up at a council meeting a while back.
Yes.
Was about 3 months ago, is the issue is there is no current development there, right? So it's scraped already.
it's straight
Land is
road.
scraped, yeah, so land's scraped. It hasn't been properly
The drainage is
Yeah, the drainage
addressed.
don't really matter, a lot of runoff and stuff,
So if I can offer again,
yeah.
I'm available to both of you and any of your neighbors that come start the conversation, but ultimately it's council. To let them know, what your concerns are, but I would recommend starting with me, because I would like to be able to understand your concerns, understand the history, and maybe help direct you to address it.
Thank you,
Sorry.
Aaron. Can you get his contact information? I can't see who's talking.
I'll get it, Reed.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Yeah, bye.
I believe we have one other person online, OCN Janet, I believe is trying to speak.
Sellers.
She live?
The hand is raised, but she is not unmuting, so I don't know.
But the mic's no, she's not live.
I'm gonna assume she's no longer there.
She's not. Okay, I'll give her a few seconds, just in case. Is her hand still in the air?
Yeah.
It's still there, yeah.
Please, what was her name?
Janet.
Janet, please, unmute your mic if you'd like to speak to us. Okay, I'm going to, any more comments related to yeah, we'll close the non-agenda public items, reports, communications, and announcements. Commissioners? Yeah,
What's that?
report, communication.
I think I've spoken enough today. So.
Hearing none, I will announce that the next meeting is December the 11th, 6:00 PM here,
Downstairs.
and therefore I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. You were awesome.
I was getting a little stressed back here. The link wasn't working, and I'd never gone in as a public member.